What's going on, y'all? So it's Sunday morning. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been kind of on my mind for the last couple of days. And this relates to my attention span and how I feel that medical school or going to medical school cooked it. This all kind of ties into the method of the madness of medical school, specifically about the way that we had to study. When you get into medical school, there's a bunch of information that they throw at you. And one of the good things that I really liked about my school is that they recorded our lectures for us to either not go to class and just watch on the side, or for us to watch as a supplemental portion to rewatch after classes. The classes were about 4 hours straight every single day, and then we would have the second half of the day be kind of like a lab portion. The days were pretty packed, and having to go to the 4 hour lecture, at least for me, I didn't like skipping the lectures. I liked actually being in there and hearing them. That way I can actually have a second pass of the information when I rewatch the videos. When I actually rewatched the videos, because of how packed the day was, I couldn't spend another extra 4 hours just kind of going through it after the fact, because we would get out of class maybe around like 4, 5, 6. You can imagine, one, I need a lunch break. Two, having to sit down there for another 4 hours. You're looking at about like maybe 10, 11 p.m. And then you'd have to wake up the early morning to do it all over again. One thing to kind of fix this issue for me is that I actually played the recorded lectures at a faster speed. And it was kind of built into the software. We can speed it up to like 1.5, 1.75 to even up to 2.5 speed. And if you had an add-on like I did, you can go up to like maybe 2.75, even up to 5. Over time, I was watching a lot of these recorded lectures at 2 speed because I felt like I needed to get through the information quicker so I can actually review the information, put it all into like a consolidated area so I can review it for the exams. Over time, this ruined my experience in terms of not only watching other forms of media, whether it's TV, movies, YouTube, whatever it was, but it also ruined my attention span in regards to my relationships and communicating with others. This is something that I really recognized after I finished medical school, specifically towards the maybe mid to end portion of my residency. For one, I'll talk about the media aspect. Having to go back to rewatching stuff on one time speed, the normal speed, it was really hard for me to stay focused because in my whole mind, I was just thinking like this is going really, really slow, and I was drifting out of it and losing interest and not really able to maintain a focus on what I was watching. Before med school, I was a really big TV head. I was a big CW guy, a big ABC guy. So I was watching like Arrow, Flash, How to Get Away with Murder. After med school, after residency, I realized that my interest in watching shows just kind of dwindled pretty precipitously, and I wasn't able to just watch TV normally. That was a big problem for me because I did like watching these shows, having a release, even like animes that I used to watch in the past. It was really hard for me to just stay focused because watching it at that speed, it just felt really slow for me. This is something I really recognized recently because my partner was over at my place one day. I threw on a Netflix show. I can't remember exactly what we were watching, but she threw on a show and she was like, "Is this sped up?" And I was like, "No, it's not sped up." We go to my add-on and it actually was sped up to like, I think 2 times speed or 1.75. And it was crazy to me because in my mind, this was the new normal, and that really wasn't the reality. I've been having to come to the realization that I don't need to be rushing through things, whether it's TV, movies, whatever. I need to actually just play it at normal speed so I can actually just enjoy myself. And life isn't about how it was like in med school, getting through, pushing fast, and making sure I can get through things efficiently. I don't have to do that with my normal life anymore. And that's something that I've been having to kind of remind myself repeatedly and kind of desensitize myself out of that. I'm not saying that I'm watching things at normal speed yet. I'm probably watching things at like 1.5 speed, which is way better from when I was watching things at 2.5 speed in med school. But it's something that I'm going to have to kind of wean myself off of to get back to normal speeds. I don't know if I'll ever be completely at 1, maybe at 1.25, 1.1. It's something that I've had to conscientiously work on these last couple of months to years after finishing med school. The second aspect of how I felt doing this kind of like cooked my attention span was specifically with human interactions and communicating with other people. What do I mean by that? When I would try to strike up a conversation, or if someone else tried to strike up a conversation with me after med school, I found myself really drifting out of the conversation, not really paying attention, not really being fully present. This was a big issue because over time, people can kind of tell when you are paying attention to them or not. At least for me, I tend to have an unreadable face, but at times you can tell when I am paying attention or not. And whether it's with friends, interests of partners, people were able to tell that I wasn't able to pay attention. And this was evident when people actually asked me questions. Oh, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? And I found that I was oftentimes not remembering what we were even talking about, and that I wasn't actually present and actually paying attention. Obviously, this is something that has affected, further relationships, and it's something that I don't want to be a continuous issue. So it's something that I'm still working on, being present, listening, not having to feel like I need to rush through a conversation, not feeling that voice in the back of my head that was like, man, this conversation is going really, really slow. We go ahead and speed this up. Now it's about being present for that person, listening conscientiously, and actually making sure that I am actively taking part in a conversation instead of like, all right, like, when is this over? I am grateful for med school. I wasn't a regret for me. I don't regret going to med school because of this fact. I just feel like it's something that I've recognized myself and something that I've decided to work on. The way that we have to live in some of these professional graduate programs, like, you have to like adopt the system to get through it. And for me, the system that I adopted was watching things at like 2.5 speed to get through the information. That way I was able to survive and take the tests and pass them and move on with my career. Now it's not like that. I have to kind of get out of that mindset and get back to how things were, and appreciate life for what it is at one time speed, not 2 time speed. In these next couple of months to years, I hope to get back to enjoying things at a normal pace again, not at a faster pace, but only time will tell. So I'll see you guys later. Peace. Share it down below if this is something you guys struggle with in any other sense as well. Peace.